What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today we need to talk about a deck that I have been waiting to be good, which might finally actually be good. We are talking about Starter Deck 13 Sabo, about red and yellow Sabo. I love this deck. I've wanted this deck to be good. It makes me a little bit sad that it's not Bello Betty, I'm gonna be honest with you, but I think I can forgive it. Now, of course, this is the leader from Starter Deck 13, and I should say this got him won. I've seen him winning a little bit in Japan. I'm not talking about it winning huge tournaments, but I'm starting to see this winning in a way I haven't done, and this makes me happy, and I think this deck might finally be legit. 5,000 power, 4 life, standard for a dual color leader. And we got Don X1, activate main once per turn. You may add one of your characters with a cost of 3 or more and 7,000 power or more to the top of your life face up, to give one of your characters a 2,000 power boost until the start of your next turn. So we want lots of 7,000 power or more characters. You can use Don here, obviously. And then we're recovering a life once per turn, and we're boosting up our characters. And that sounds like fun. So obviously here, we've not got that much in terms of low-cost characters, because we want 3 cost or more to activate our leader skill. Though there are some exceptions. We are playing a full 4 copies of the Monkey the Garp from Starter Deck 13, because on play, look at the top 5 cards of your deck, find a Sabo, Ace, or Luffy with a cost of 5 or less and add them to your hand. And I'm not going to go through them all here, we'll see as we go through the deck, but we do have Luffy, and we have Sabo, and we have Ace in this deck. And yes, they're all 5 cost or less, because that is the sweet spot. I will say, we don't have much in terms of low cost cards, but we also have nothing above a 5 cost, which I think is kind of fitting. Now, one of the other low-cost cards we got here is the 2-cost Ace from the Starter Deck. Activate main, trash this character, reveal a card on the top of your life. If it's a Porcus Ace with a cost of exactly 5, you can play it and your leader gets a 2k bump. Now, I'm going to go slightly out of order here and tell you that, yeah, of course we're playing a 5-cost Ace. Specifically, we're playing the 5-cost Ace from the Starter Deck. If you got 2 or less life, you gain Rush. But regardless, it's a 7k body. Now, it also means it can be added to your life with your leader, because it's got a cost of more than 3, and it starts off with 7k power. But generally speaking here, you're just hopefully getting an extra ace. And we're also playing the ace from Starter Deck 15, because it's an ace with a cost of exactly 5. Now, it's got a skill that gives it rush if your leader is Whitebeard Pirates, but your leader isn't, so that's irrelevant. But we've got activate main. If this character would be KO'd or removed from play by an opponent's effect, it can just survive with minus 2,000 power instead, which is actually a really good skill. But now we've got 2 5-cost ace that can be grabbed with your little 2-cost ace, and that's pretty good to me, frankly. That's pretty good to me. Hit one of them early and you're going to have a big advantage in the game. The other 2-cost card we're playing here is Kazuki Hui. This is the one from OP06. You got counter plus 2k, which is important. We're not big on blocking in this deck, so some countering is quite important. And on play, you can add a card from the top or bottom of your life to your hand, and then add a card from your hand to the top or bottom of your life. Yeah, remember how I just showed you the 2-cost ace, and I told you that if you look at the top card of your life when you trash it, and it is a 5-cost ace, you can play it and also get a leader power bump? Yeah, we're not chancing it here. Use Hui to get ace on top of your life, and then use 2-cost ace to play it for essentially a 2-cost, and you see where we're going with this. Phenomenal card. Great combo here with a 2-cost ace. Plus, it's also counter plus 2k, which is huge. We're playing our old friend Rush Zoro. 3-cost, 5,000 power with Rush. Simple as that. And yes, you might notice how I just showed you that the ace has Rush. The other one doesn't because you're not playing Whitebeard. But this has got Rush. And oh yeah, we're also playing Killer and Kid, which is the one from Premium Booster 01, or Extra Booster 01, I should say, which has Rush. And when attacking, if your opponent has 2 or less life, this character gains 2k. We are playing around with a bunch of Rush here. And we're cheating our characters into play a little bit earlier. We are going aggro here, ladies and gentlemen. We are going aggro. Because we're also playing the Luffy from Starter Deck 1 that has Rush. And Don X2, when attacking, your opponent cannot activate Blocker during this battle. You will notice that there are a worryingly large amount of cards here that don't have counter. And also that we're not playing any blockers. This deck kind of needs to go a little bit aggro here, because we're not going to do a great job of fending off our opponent's attacks. But hopefully we're fast enough that it doesn't really matter. Now, we're also playing Satori here because it's a yellow deck. Yellow decks play this. Counter plus 2k is good. We need a bit more of that. And as a trigger, you can trash a card from your hand to play this card. Nice trigger, and counter plus 2k, that's a very, very good thing. We've also got Charlotte Cracker here, and it makes me a bit sad this is not a Revolutionary Army deck, even a little bit, but we're just playing a bunch of fast, aggressive red and yellow cards. Here we got Don X1, if you got less life than your opponent, you gain double attack, and we have some ways to take our own life, and 1,000 power extra as well as double attack, and as a trigger you can trash a card to play this card. Yeah, sounds pretty good to me. We got Trigger that gets our cards out a bit faster. We got ways to cheat Ace into play. We got a bunch of cards with Rush. This is a very aggressive deck. Now, I told you we have ways to get life into our hand so we can go behind on life. And the main way we're doing it here is with this Sabo. Now, this Sabo represents a slight issue with this deck, because this Sabo was a weird promo that you had to do a mail away with a magazine. Didn't even come in a magazine. It was a mail away promotion with the magazine. It's not been released in English yet. And now it is actually being re-released in the Premium Card Collection Volume 3 that I showed you the other day. But this is not a terribly available card, and it is played as a 4 of in this deck, and it actually fits this deck beautifully. It has got a cost of exactly 5, which means it combos with Monkey the Garp and can be searched out, which is really good. And it's got counter plus 2k, which is important because we've got a lot of characters without counter and we've got no blockers in the deck. But we've also got activate main once per turn. You may add the top or bottom card of your life to your hand, and then this character gains 1,000 power this turn. And there's a lot that I love about this card in this deck. Counter plus 2k, great. Going behind on life to potentially activate Charlotte Cracker's double attack and extra power, great. Card advantage from taking your life, great. And then, you know, just getting the extra power boost is nice as well. It is a great card in this deck, but it's a promo that isn't that readily available. And that's a little bit of a problem here. The rest of this deck, like, we're still waiting for starter deck 15 to get the ace. But after that, we can go and play this deck nicely. But especially in English right now, this Sabo just isn't a thing. And I think that could end up being a little bit of a problem. There aren't really any decks around at the moment for One Piece that have awkward to get promos being real key parts of the deck. This one, I don't know if this deck works nearly as well without this Sabo. There's a reason it's a 4 of, and right now, I think it's too awkward to get hold of. Now, in terms of event cards, we obviously have a few events here that we like. You're the One Who Should Disappear. 0 cost card. As a counter, trash a card from your hand to get a 3k bump for the battle. And as a trigger, if you've got 0 life, add a card from the top of your deck to your life, and then trash a card from your hand. You're playing a yellow deck. This event card is ridiculous. Obviously, you're playing it. The other yellow event you're playing here is Blaze Slice. 1 cost, and as a main or a counter, you get a 1k bump to your leader or one of your characters. And then if your opponent's got 2 or less life, rest a 4 cost or lower. As a trigger, you just rest a 4 cost or lower. Very nice card. And then we finish off with a couple copies of Meteor Strike of Love. As a main or counter, add a card from the top of your life to your hand to give a 3k bump to your leader or one of your characters during this turn. 3k bump to your leader, very, very nice. Makes it much more difficult for your opponent to take life. But also taking one of your life can be a good thing, as we've explained earlier on. Here's the list as a whole, and I like this deck. This deck is fun. I like the amount of characters we've got with Rush, even though we're playing one with Rush that we can't activate, which is weird. And I like the fact that we're going just full bore. We're playing characters a bit cheekily. We're going with Rush. We're going with double attack. And we're just going, look, I'm not playing any blockers. I've got too many characters that don't have counter. I just think I'm going to outspeed you. This is my kind of deck, and you better believe I'm going to start playtesting this just as soon as we get this Sabo in English. For now, I want to know what you think about this deck. I want to know if it's your kind of deck. I want to know anything you want to tell me, so let me know in the comment section. Go nuts! Be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWasi. That's where we talk about One Piece and a bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all kinds of fun things. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wasi Plays.